Okay. Oh, wrong agenda. Hold on. Okay, we are ready to start the special meeting for the Community Development Block Grant. Calling this meeting to order at 1:32 p.m. May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Adam Johnson,
Here.
Commissioner Justin Green,
Here.
Commissioner Hank Hughes,
Here.
Commissioner Lisa Kakari Stone,
Present.
and Chair Camila Bustamante.
Present. Okay, it appears we have a quorum. Thank you. Next on our agenda, we have an approval of the agenda. Manager Schaefer, are there any changes to the agenda as provided?
Chair Bustamante, no, there are no changes recommended from staff. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So today we will hear a presentation which requires its own special meeting on the CDBG grant, and we will hear from Max Hendren, and then we'll have a public hearing on such.
We need to approve the agenda.
And we have to approve the agenda as provided.
So moved. Second.
A motion to approve by Commissioner Hughes, a second by Commissioner everyone else, not really, by Commissioner who?
Me and Green.
Green?
Sure.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we have our agenda, and we are on item 2, CDBG presentation and public hearing. Max Hendren, thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Bustamante and Commissioners. Thank you for your time and consideration on this special meeting to comply with the mandatory public engagement for the requirements of the Department of Housing and Urban Development, Community Development Block Grant Program. I am Max Hendren, the Capital Planning Team Leader for the Growth Management Department. And one of my responsibilities is managing prospective grant applications and for the Community Development Block Grant. These funds are administered by the New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration, the Infrastructure Planning Development Division, we'll call them the DFA, and the Community Development Council, the CDC. On May 6th of 2025, the DFA conducted a CDBG application workshop to help applicants prepare for the highly competitive 2025 CDBG funding cycle. The purpose of this special meeting is to provide you information on the Community Development Block Grant, the CDBG program, and encourage public participation. This meeting serves as the third pre-project selection requirement. Staff will come back on July 8th for a fourth public participation meeting in anticipation of selecting a project with the board and moving forward with a CDBG application. All these efforts will maximize the county's points for public participation in anticipation of submitting a grant application for these 2025 CDBG funds. During this meeting, information about the CDBG funding program, eligible applications, and types of projects that can be applied for will be provided. Today, we will also provide the public an opportunity to comment on potential projects for CDBG funding. Please be sure to sign in on this sign-in sheet. It's Exhibit B in your packet material, because this documentation will be included in the CDBG application. We have Dow and Monica in the front, just outside. So we'll need everybody's signature, if you would, please, for the documentation. Okay, so this is the third meeting during which the public can comment on potential uses for the funds. In June of 2024, during the closeout process for the Greater Glorieta Regional Well, a project that was partly funded by CDBG funds, staff held 2 closeout public hearings with the dual purpose to meet the CDBG public participation requirements. First, to announce the closeout of the successfully completed CDBG-funded Greater Glorieta Regional Well project. And second, to meet the requirements for pre-project selection. During these meetings, staff received project ideas for community needs in anticipation of the 2025 CDBG funding cycle. Since then, staff have evaluated each project idea and provided that information to you in Exhibit A. There was a project in Chimayo to rehab, a request for a project in Chimayo to rehab the old Head Start building into a community center. But since then, the old Head Start building has been repurposed for the community as a post office. And then there was a request for LCLC Mutual Domestic PFAS program. But the PFAS classification at this time has been allocated funding. The study is currently underway, and there are no infrastructure projects identified at this time. There are sidewalks. There was a request for sidewalks, to use these funds for sidewalks on Lopez Lane. That project has since been removed from our ICIP. It is currently funded and underway. Then there was a request for Main Street Agua Fria Community Center. The Historic Arts and Cultural Center was reviewed by the Capital Planning Committee this year, and it has been approved for a feasibility study. At this time, there are no infrastructure projects to be identified for these funds. There was also a request for the San Isidro Bridge. That project has been funded for a feasibility study for a low water crossing, and there are no infrastructure projects identified at this time for the San Isidro Bridge. Also brought to our attention were projects for public housing improvements. There are 3 public housing projects on our ICIP. We have Santa Cruz, Valle Vista, and the Camino de Jacobo. The LMI national objective for CDBG is met with the housing activities because to qualify for housing assistance, you have to have low income. A little bit about the CDBG program, the purpose and the history. So the NMAC 2.110.2 is a small city CDBG rule. It's Exhibit C in your file. It was established under Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974. The statute establishes that the state and the national objectives require assistance to be made for activities that address at least one of these national program objectives. A, that it benefits principally low and moderate income families. B, that it could aid in the prevention or elimination of slum and blight. Or C, that it meets other community development needs having a particular urgency because existing conditions pose a serious and immediate threat to health and welfare of the community and where other financial resources are not available. That is in 2.110.2.9 if you want to take a look at the program objectives. So the county will really concentrate on projects that meet the national objective to benefit low to moderate income families. So to meet LMI, a project will automatically qualify if the area is at least 51% or higher low to moderate income. This determination is met by the Department of Housing and Urban Development using census data and a HUD formula, or if the project is, that is through ACS, American Community Survey, or if a project is serving limited clientele, or it could also be determined by conducting a survey. So let me get into a little bit more detail about that. The Department of Finance and Administration is the state funding agency for the CDBG program. The DFA and HUD allow the ACS data, the American Community Survey data, to be used. As an example of how this income eligibility is applied, in 2019, the Village of Glorieta ACS LMI figure was 54%. The Greater Glorieta Regional WOW project is a community-wide project for Glorieta, and that ACS LMI data of 54% met the national objective for CDBG funding that was established by HUD, and that's how we went forward with that project. In general, if an entity's ACS LMI is under 51%, they don't automatically qualify. However, it's not to say that they can't qualify LMI. LMI activities can serve the limited clientele. So if the project only serves a limited clientele, such as a seniors center or homelessness or abused children, these limited clientele are considered 100% LMI, and the project meets the national objective and can qualify. The Santa Fe County Public Housing Authority's communities automatically meets the requirements of LMI, in that with communities, with the limited exception of law enforcement personnel who resides in these communities, 100% of the residents in public housing communities are income qualified at or below 80% AMI. We could also conduct a survey. LMI can potentially be met by conducting a survey if the project directly benefits and is restricted to a certain geographic area. Then an LMI survey can be conducted. So all surveys are conducted by a randomizer. An example of that kind of survey to meet those direct beneficiaries could be for a street rehabilitation project. The families on that street would be surveyed because they would benefit directly from that project. The surveys can be conducted door to door, by telephone, or by mail, or by a mail-in survey. Door to door is definitely more successful. The demographics and the confidential income data would be gathered and then calculated to determine an LMI percentage. If that percentage is 51% or higher, and the state DFA approves the survey methodology and the calculations, then that project could potentially qualify. Okay, so who are the eligible and the ineligible applicants? All counties and incorporated municipalities are eligible except for the entitled cities of Albuquerque, Las Cruces, Santa Fe, Rio Rancho, and Farmington. Those cities are called entitlement cities because of their population, and they receive direct funding through HUD. Also, Indian pueblos and tribes, they receive CDBG funding directly from the HUD Office of Native American Programs in Albuquerque. Eligible activities or categories that we can use these funds for: community infrastructure projects, public facilities, housing projects, economic development projects. For an emergency, there are also allocations for planning grants that have a maximum of $50,000 per plan. And there's also a CDBG allocation of 10% earmarked for colonious projects. Some ineligible activities that CDBG will not fund are like construction of buildings used to conduct government business, like city halls. These funds cannot be used for general operation and maintenance nor can these costs be involved in the preparation of applications and/or securing funds. Some other program requirements that need to be outlined are applicants must conduct at least a minimum of two public hearings, a pre-project selection meeting and a post-project selection meeting. Like I said earlier, this presentation is the third pre-project selection public hearing, and a post-project selection meeting will be held on July 8th. There will be 4 public hearings that will provide us the maximum amount of points in an application for the project rating and ranking process of the CDBG grant. Project recommendations from the public will be considered, and project requests will formally be vetted, reviewed, and selected through our capital planning process. And it will be approved by the Board of County Commissioners in a regularly scheduled, and the project will also be included in our ICIP. All applicants must address the national objective to benefit low to moderate income persons. An entity that uses cost estimates can apply for an unlimited amount of funding, but if we do not use certified cost estimates, we can only apply for up to $500,000. We do have a cash match requirement. For the county's non-rural community, we must provide a 10% cash match. All applicants will be scored by rating. Certain criteria like the description and need, the benefit to LMI, leveraging, citizen participation, planning, feasibility and readiness, and cost benefit. There is also a new update from DFA. They are requiring a professional external project administrator for each applicant. We are currently working with North Central New Mexico Economic Development District because they have a capacity building grant that can help us with the application process. Also, CDBG will allow 3% for technical assistance for a grant administrator, and probably go into contract should we move forward with the COG and utilize those funds. But I don't know what their costs are yet. That's just something else to consider. The New Mexico Community Development Council is responsible for allocating the grants under the NMAC 2.110.2. And these council members are appointed by the governor and include representatives from the governor's office, the New Mexico Environment Department, the Department of Health, and the Department of Finance and Administration. Other representatives are from the 6 regional planning districts, our Council of Governments. We are represented by District 2, and that is the North Central New Mexico Economic Development District, and Wayne Sonchar from Las Vegas is our appointed representative for District 2. So some of our counties' previously CDBG funded programs, I want to highlight the Greater Glorieta Regional Well. So in 2019, the county secured $750,000 of CDBG funds for the well. In addition, an unprecedented opportunity was provided to the county to request additional funds through the CDBG CV funds because of the COVID pandemic and the country shutting down and all those rising costs of construction because of supply chain issues. HUD provided the additional funds to the DFA. The county requested and was awarded an additional $381,968 for a total of $1,131,968 CDBG funds. And in collaboration with the Greater Glorieta Community Regional Mutual Domestic Water Consumers and Sewage Works Association, we leveraged and secured $2.4 million to construct this new well. ensuring sustainable water supply for 70 households, and the project was successfully completed by the DFA. They sent us a closeout letter on August 22nd, 2024. Some other past CDBG funded projects was the Santa Fe County Roof Rehabilitation Project. In 2026, the county was awarded $500,000 to re-roof 39 units located in the Valle de Esperanza, the Santa Cruz housing site, and 12 units at the Camino de Jacobo site. The project helped 101 LMI beneficiaries and was successfully completed within 24 months. Other CDBG-funded projects included the Glorieta Mutual Domestic Water Line Phase 1 and the La Familia Medical Center. So in conclusion, the purpose of this meeting was to provide CDBG information and gather information from the Santa Fe County community regarding potential project ideas. Community members, please keep in mind the parameters of the CDBG program in terms of eligibility and other required elements. At this time, the county has not determined a CDBG project to pursue. And I yield to Commissioner Bustamante, the commissioners, and the public for questions and comments, as well as receive input for potential project ideas in a public hearing.
Thank you, Max. Do we have any questions directly for Max at this time, or should we move into public hearing? Commissioner Green?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Max. Good to see you. A question about the Chimayo old Head Start building. I understand the building is being converted into a post office. I'm wondering about the rest of the property. There was a mobile home that burnt down last year, and there's a site that could facilitate. It's a big enough site to handle the same needs that were requested in a community center, and so I'm wondering if that can sort of, within that site, handle that without looking just at the building itself, but more at the site there. And then secondarily, if not there, if the need was identified for a community center up there, there's the old New Mexico State Police outpost next to the Benny J. Chavez Senior Center that is currently vacant. And I've had a number of constituents asking about a child care facility, sort of like like an old Head Start. And given that the state has a lot of money for pre-K, they feel like they need a space for a pre-K facility and maybe a pre-K facility. So I'm just trying to throw those two things out that sort of relate to this item that has been removed. Just because the post office took that opportunity doesn't mean the need went away.
Chair Bustamante, Commissioner Green, thank you for those ideas. We can definitely take them back to the committee and identify if there's a potential project for those two ideas. Site clearance, I'm not quite sure what you want us to do with the trailer.
Well, the trailer's
Remove
gone, so
demo?
the state police building may not be suitable for conversion into a child care facility, but it might be. And then the up at the old Head Start location, that is county property, and part of it is going to be dedicated to a post office, but it may have a location up there that could also host another community benefit, and so people could go, have a community center and a post office at one location.
Okay, thank you for those ideas.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Commissioner Kakari-Stone?
Thank you, Chair Bustamante. Max, I just want to appreciate the level of thought and intention you, as well as Leandro's shop, Mr. Cordova's shop, that you always put into all of these deliberations, into your presentations. It's very well presented for the public, and I just want to put a note in that the historic village of Agua Fria is located on the Camino Real de Adentro. That's 300 years representing conflict, cultural collaboration, and exchanges, yet it remains a volatile community in terms of the requirements to be eligible, in terms of low to moderate income, in terms of the need for community development and infrastructure. And I think it brings to the entire county opportunity for economic development, arts, and historical cultural exchanges to recognize that locality that goes all the way to the Gulf of Mexico up to southern Colorado. Those are just my comments, but also a thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. At this time, Commissioner Johnson?
Sorry, thank you, Madam Chair. I just had a question. Thanks, Max, and I echo Commissioner Kakari-Stone's thanks. So could I'm thinking about regional transit hubs. I sit on the board of the NCRTD. Is that something that it would be applicable to put in bus shelters, infrastructure, things like that in areas that qualify?
Chair Bustamante, Commissioner Johnson, I would have to look into bus shelters. I don't know of a project for bus shelters. It's more community infrastructure to develop roads, water facilities, wastewater facilities. But I can definitely ask the DFA if that's a potential project.
Yeah, thank you. I think it'd at least be interesting to know, because the NCRTD primarily serves LMI individuals, so it sort of fits. But I would wonder if it actually fits the criteria. So, thank you.
No, thank you, Commissioner Johnson, because in these areas, we do have more people who would use public transportation, especially in the more rural areas where they're rolling out some new programs and people don't have any shelter. And I think it at least falls into the LMI concern. Anyway, but thank you. All right, it's 1:59, and we are going to move into public hearing for this issue. So we are here to have questions and citizen input. Max, just stay close by. I see that you have Leandro with you. And how many people from the public would like to speak today? With a show of hands. None? Anybody from the public? Okay, we have 2 people from the public. So the public hearing, we can go ahead and, do they need to be sworn in?
Chair, I do not believe they need to be sworn in. As for purposes of this grant, I do not think
Okay.
there's a swearing requirement.
Don't need to be sworn in for the purposes of this grant. I am going to remind everyone who is attending this meeting, the CDBG grant meeting, to sign the roster. It's very important that we all sign the roster that is just outside the door, but I will ask those who want to speak to please approach the microphone.
Chair Bustamante, would you like me to display a timer?
Yes, please. And you will have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. My name's Nancy Suter. I live in Agua Fria Village, and I need a little clarification about our Agua Fria Village History, Art, and Cultural Programming Center, History, Art, and Cultural Center, which I thought was being proposed for this grant, but now what I'm hearing is that at this point it's not eligible. Is that correct?
Yes, Commissioner Bustamante
Yes,
and Commissioners, Nancy. The project is not identified as an infrastructure project at this time. It is in a feasibility study, maybe potential funds on down the road.
And then, but it seemed like there's feasibility study money available, but my understanding too is that we've already been granted $100,000 from the county for our feasibility study. Is
That is in the potential capital budget.
okay? So that's not a done deal yet. So thanks for the clarification.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Next. Are you William Mee?
William E., Agua Fria Village Association. And so, Nancy's comments kind of mirror my own. I know that on our History, Arts, and Culture Center, what we've been doing is preparing a website so that we can get some traffic and have the traffic from the online focus to kind of drive the need for bricks and mortar building. But thanks to the commission for doing anything you can for Agua Fria Village.
Thank you, Mr. Me. Is there anyone else who wants to speak to the CDBG grant, which is redundant? No one online? Okay, if there are no further comments, who wants to go first?
Chair Bustamante, if I could just ask for clarification to Max. Even though we're looking at the feasibility phase, why can't the Agua Fria Village Traditional Historic Cultural Center be considered now or for future CDBG? Because it does meet some of the requirements you outlined in terms of income and the need for infrastructure, community development.
Yeah, sure. Commissioner Stone and Chair Bustamante, the project is not fully identified as a infrastructure project at this time. These grants are only 24 months. We have to complete the project within 24 months. Perhaps it'll be better to apply for those funds once the project is fully identified, and we could quickly move forward into construction, quickly move forward into implementation of a project.
Well, thank you, Max. And Chair Bustamante and Lawyer Boyd, could the testimony that was submitted be, for the record at least, for future consideration of CDBG funds? Because I think it's really important to get priority projects that have been a long-term discussed in our county in the pipeline and bring additional awareness to the other commissioners of why and how this is needed, and to also honor and recognize the community partners who have really been fighting and advocating for presence in the entire county and District 2 as a traditional village. Can it be their testimony at least put in the public record? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Any additional comments? Commissioner Green?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks, Max. So I don't know where we go forward with this, but it seems like there are a lot of things that are on our lists, right? Capital lists, projects, and so on. Is there a way that, the things that are not quite ready, like sort of to Commissioner Kakari Stone's point, sort of give them a pathway to get ready, so maybe it's next year or the year after. And then if we can look at the projects that we would think that would be eligible and ready, right? We could do this in 2 years, it's eligible, and that we could then have a comprehensive list of these things that maybe we can have a discussion up here and say, this is eligible, this, here's the list of eligible, it's ready to go, it's shovel ready, whatever those things are, to make sure that we can do it. And then we would have a more comprehensive list of that.
Certainly, Commissioner Green, Chair Bustamante, we do have the ICIP list that we definitely want to draw our projects off of, the ICIP list. And we have mentioned the public housing projects that are, pretty much ready to go. LMI is pretty much already identified. We could get the approval from DFA. And there may be some other projects that we could potentially conduct a survey, but we don't really know whether or not we will get that survey in that neighborhood or not. But we could come up with some kind of a list that could potentially qualify for infrastructure and provide that for your consideration.
Thank you. From my perspective, I do like supporting affordable housing, but I find its impact somewhat limited, right? I like my preference is community-wide projects. So when you do a water system, everyone in the community benefits. When you do, other larger, community-wide, you have a bigger impact here. And so there might be a way to score that differently and for us to bring those things together. When you do a cultural center, everyone in the community gets to be a part of that cultural center. When you upgrade 12 affordable houses, it's wonderful for those 12 families, and we shouldn't poo-poo it. We should definitely make sure that if there's no other better choice, that we should go for those. But sometimes those more macro level things have bigger
Certainly,
value.
Commissioner Green, Chair Bustamante. I mentioned the LMI qualifiers. We did look at the ACH, the American Community Survey, to determine if any of our communities qualify. And the only community that perhaps could qualify is Espanola right now. And within Espanola is the Santa Cruz housing project. There are no other projects that qualify on our ICIP in that area for commitment for CDBG funds. That would have been the low-picking fruit, the easy projects to consider that they're already LMI eligible and move forward with those projects. We do want to identify our project and get the application moving as soon as possible. And that's the purpose of coming here, to provide you all of the requirements of the CDBG program and staff capacity to move projects forward as quickly as possible and get that application in by August 19th.
Okay, and just to follow up with that eligibility for Espanola, do we know if Espanola is applying on, has a project that maybe there's a partnership that we could help with? That maybe they don't have the capacity to get queued up for a CDBG grant, but maybe we do, and that we could help them get it over the finish line?
Yeah, Commissioner Green, I do not know if they have a potential project to collaborate with.
It'd be wonderful to know. So I will go ask, as part of my district includes part of Espanola. So
Thank you, Commissioner Green. If we have more to discuss, I do want to remind everyone, if you're in this meeting and you were here for the CDBG grant, to please sign the roster. Max, can you remind us of the, I guess there are 3 more meetings after this one?
We've already conducted 2 meetings.
Okay.
Now this is the 3rd meeting, and the final post-project selection meeting is going to be scheduled for July 8th in the before the regular BCC meeting.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Kokari-Stone.
Thank you for the time, Chair Bustamante. I just want to highlight again that since we don't have a process for pipeline, it's not on you, Max. I'm actually talking to the commissioners as well as the county manager and folks. Since we don't have a process for the pipeline for CDBG long-term planning, my recommendation and request is for the record that we have the Agua Fria Village Historic Community Cultural Center in the pipeline, and again requesting that their testimony be entered into the public record as in the pipeline project. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Stone.
Thank you. If there are no further comments, we would like to have our concluding business, a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn from Commissioner
Second.
Johnson. We have a second from Commissioner Green. All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, Max.
Thank you.
Okay. We are going to take 5 minutes. We're going to start exactly at 2:15. We will start the regular Board of County Commission meeting at 2:15. Please sign the roster that's right outside the door, and we will start promptly at 2:15. It's 2:10 now, or 2:11, depending on what you're looking at.